Greetings and welcome to Old Truck and Discography, where old friends and fans come together, BS, argue. We never fucking agree.
Why
And
not?
we talk about an artist. And we talk about
Well, you
albums.
got you
And we're
got to
gonna
let me Bill, before you go into the intro. You got to let me get back in the light. Hold on.
What do you got?
No, keep going, Bill.
we're
Keep
gonna get
going. Fuck
demonetized.
it. Fuck it.
We're gonna get demonetized anyway, so I'm gonna just keep
We're
going
all
with this
gonna
intro.
agree. It's
All
All
right,
right.
I am your co-host Bill. No one ever agrees with me because I like new metal and all that grungy bullshit. All right, he's your main host, Jason. I don't know where he is in
no, you
relation to
like
me.
meme
He's
shit
holding
like
up an
Creed
album.
and fucking
All right,
goddamn Nickelback. Because
Tim's
you're a
out in the
meat
middle of
baller.
nowhere. Finishing up.
Although I do
Having
love
a good
Creed.
time.
It's good music.
Honey's interrupting me. I have no idea. I'm guessing he's below me somewhere. Maybe to the right of me. I don't know. All right,
He's
that's
below you.
Tony.
He's below you.
He's below. All right, that's Tony. All
Motherfucker,
right,
I've
he's the
never
special
played.
guest here. I invited him on a whim because you know what? I felt like Jason, especially myself, need a little bit of help defending Green Day against the might of Almighty Metal Tim.
I don't need any help.
Whatever. It's not even metal, Tim. This is just
There's
like
no defending Green Day.
Yeah, I don't need help. I got this.
All right,
Green Day had great albums.
Tony's just here because we weren't willing to hop
They
on video
made
games
some
with him
good pop
tonight.
punk.
Pretty much, yeah. We didn't want Tony to feel left out.
They're the fathers of punk. Thank you. I did.
Today we are talking about Insomniac. Go back, check out our last three videos. Yep, you see here our
Insomniac shit.
current rankings. But we're talking about Insomniac, released in 1995. I still wasn't born yet, as is the case with most of the bands we covered here. Everyone else was in fact born before this album came out. Uh, you know what? Jason, why don't you bring us out here of Insomniac? Make it so we actually wake up here.
Well, I thank you, Bill. Insomniac. That's another Rob C. produced album. This was a day one buy for me. I remember the day I bought this record. I was fiending for more Green Day after getting all the previous shit. JAR was a tease. Armitage Shanks, at the MTV Music Awards, MTV told Nirvana they had to play Smells Like Teen Spirit or Come As You or Lithium, or they were going to blackmail all their friends like Sonic Youth and blah blah blah. And Nirvana in their wise fuck you attitude played like the first few bars of Rape Me because that's what they wanted to play, and then they switched to Lithium. Green Day, they did the same thing with Green Day. They said you got to play Basket Case or When I Come Around, and Green Day said no, we're going to play Armitage Shanks. And fuck you, who are you going to blackmail? You don't play our friends anyway. And they played Armitage Shanks. And that was the first time I heard that fucking song. And best opening track in the discography? I don't know. The first lines are stranded, lost inside myself, my own worst friend, and my own closest enemy. Completely sums up this album. It's frantic, it's angry, it's snotty, it's beautiful, it's chaotic perfection. Brat, this is my fucking Green Day. I love Mike's little riff in between the choruses and the verse. Billy sounds snotty. He sounds immature. The lyrics are sharp. The instrumental section, which is just the same riff, but it's effective. It's just different enough. Top song contender. Stuck With Me. You get Do Da Da. Stuck With Me. Billy's guitar comes out fucking swinging. I'm not a part of your elite. I'm just all right. Class structures, waving colors, bleeding from my throat. They were cast out and they're fucking pissed. I love the 1, 2, 3, 4. Mike's bass for do 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 do. So fucking good. Geek Stink Breath. It had a music video. We all talked about it around the school. That was a gross fucking music video. Fucking meth. I like Billy Joe methed out. Good shit. Wish in one hand, shit in the other. See which one gets filled up first. Still fucking I sing that in daily conversation. No Pride. Some may say it's filler. I say you better swallow your pride or you're gonna choke on it. Better digest your values because they turn to shit. Top song contender. Bob's Yavela Who. The Anxiety. This song fucking nails it lyrically, musically. They fucking nail it. And the anxiety of the song. The final verse where he opens up the chords and just lets it like bleed together, building, and then it just ends with shh. Fucking perfection. 86. I didn't know when this album came out. I didn't know all the back history with Gilman Street and their sellouts and blah blah blah. You know, I'm still like MTV generation. Like I didn't know, but like I knew what 86 meant. So yeah, there's no
It's off the
return.
menu, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's no return from 86. It's so simple. It's poetic. It leads right into the second verse with "Don't even try," like how he bleeds the chorus into the second verse. So fucking good. Panic Song. I got 2 fun facts about Panic Song. Number 1, it's the longest song on Insomniac, clocking around 3 minutes and 35 seconds. And that intro, go check out Mikey and his Yuki, where he does cover songs and he brings in a bunch of guest musicians from like, he's got Goldfinger, like Milo's on a couple episodes. Like he brings in all these different musicians to play songs, and they do a cover of Panic Song, and they brought Chris Number 2 from Anti-Flag, which Chris Number 2 is a fucking great bassist. Fuck Anti-Flag, fuck Justin Sane, but he's playing the intro to Panic Song, and the dude is like, just, you can see his face like breaking down mentally trying to play that fucking bass riff. This isn't filler. This is some of Green Day's best work. It achieves the same effect. It's pretty much all of anxiety. Like, it's just, this entire album is just anxiety. It's panic. It's anger. It's pissiness. Top song contender. Stewart and the Avenue. This might be my favorite song on the album. You're a blur and on my dead past and rotting existence as I stand laughing on the corner of insignificance. 100%. This song made it to every breakup album fucking mixtape that I made that I gave to my ex-girlfriends. Stewart and the Avenue was on that motherfucker. That was before it might have made some sense, but now it's all fucked up. And then We're All Fucked Up. Good shit. Brain Stew. Okay. Tim is and maybe Tony is the only ones that could probably like relate to this. Like, that song was fucking kind of everywhere. You know, they did the whole Godzilla remix shit.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Even Bill will say it was everywhere.
You know Brain Stew?
Yeah. It was everywhere still in the 2000s. Trust me.
I don't
Yeah, but
skip
by the
it.
2000s, they had stopped including Jaded every time they played it, and you had to like play them both. It's like Heartbreaker and Live and Love and Made. You can't listen to one without the other.
Yes, I agree. I don't skip it. I'd still take it over Basket Case. I think Brain Stew is a better song than Basket Case. It was my low point on the album if I had to choose, until I had fucking kids. Because if you have kids, Brain Stew hits so much fucking harder. It's one of my favorite songs. They nail it. 100%. It's only 5 fucking chords. And he plays those 5 chords. And even if you watch the Billy Joe Howard Stern interview where like Howard Stern's even questioning him like, why did nobody think of this before? And Billy's like, oh, I don't fucking know. It's 5 fucking chords. It just descends down the neck. But he plays it differently every single, like, you got the pick scrapes, you got the scratching, like, it's fucking so good. Jaded. Like Chump into Longview, I always get mad if I hear Brain Stew without Jaded. You just got to. You have to. It's top shelf Green Day. Countdown from 9 to 5, Hooray, We're Gonna Die. It's fucking top shelf. Westbound Sign. Honestly, might be my favorite song on the album. Less Than Jake wrote in a goddamn entire fucking record. The Westbound Sign sums it up in one fucking song. Strung Out on Confusion Road and 10-minute nervous breakdowns. Xanax, A Beer for Thought, and She's Determined. She's Taken Off. It's one of the only positive, hopeful songs on the record. Yet it still has this blanket of like insecurity and unknown and anxiety looming over it. Ending with Is Tragedy 2,000 Miles Away? Question mark. She's Taken Off. So damn good. Tightwad Hill. The placement is weird. It works thematically. It kind of fits into like she traveled all this way. Uh, hey, by the way, you traveled all this way to a place that sucks. Like it just the bass mix on this fucking album sounds so fucking good. Then you get Walking Contradiction. You close with it. Perfect closer. The wordplay on it. You know, we've talked on this show about wanting a closing track to be bombastic, or we want it to be like a quiet, slower track. But you can't close Insomniac on either fucking one. Like, Insomniac just kind of ends. Like, it's like that adds into the anxiety of the record. Like, it's short, it's fast, it's like over, it's fucking goddamn Green Day perfection. I love Insomniac.
So it's
Those are
not
my
a Mr.
notes.
Boombastic.
That wasn't the closing track, but no, it's not a Mr. Boombastic. I mean, it's no Shaggy, Bill.
Wasn't me.
I mean, I'll piggyback off that. Like, I agree with your notes for the most part. Like, this is top tier Green Day right here. From start to finish, the album goes by really quick. It starts off explosive, it ends explosive. It really doesn't let up. The production is fantastic. This is the first, post fame album. And so that's the album a lot of people will stumble on. And I think Green Day are one of the few examples that do it right, where it's like, oh no, this next one is they almost doubled down on trying to be a punk rock band by actually becoming a punk rock band. Um, yeah, I don't know. This is certainly an enjoyable listen. Again, for what it is, there's nothing here that's like,
They're not reinventing the wheel.
revolutionary.
Yeah, they're not reinventing the wheel.
They're not reinventing the wheel. Yeah, it's but with it's hard to like, really talk about this knowing what's going to come towards the end of this discography. But up until this point, like they just are kind of getting better with each album. We're still very much on the upswing. And yeah, I think this continues that where yeah, just everything that they learned from the experiences at Dookie, but then also kind of threw it out the window and said, well, fuck it, let's just do a punk rock album.
And you
Oh
know,
no, I like this one. This one was enjoyable.
go check out our Black Sabbath Never Say Die review, where we talked about like we kind of went into a discussion about album release schedules. This is 1 year after Dookie. Their biggest
Sure.
record, they should have like, and they could have rode off Dookie for at least 2 or 3 years. And instead, they throw out Insomniac. Like, I mean that's
Well, you got to
interesting.
strike while the iron's hot. And they had a half hour in them, like any good punk rock, like any, and it's not even punk rock. Any good band should be able to pull out a new half hour, you know, pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got
Whether
a
or not
point.
it records quickly is another story, but you should be able to write it pretty quickly. And yeah, if you've got major label funding, get that shit in the studio.
What about you, Bill?
So I mean, you and Tim have both kind of nailed this one really hard on the head. Um, Armitage, I would say, probably is their best opener thus far. Walking
Yep.
Contradiction, personally, I like FOD more. That might be personal taste, though, coming through on that one. As for when we get to everything in the middle, I mean, Brett and Stuck With Me, I feel like is a solid 1-2 punch. Geek Stink Breath, that was like for this album, their second biggest single off of Brains, besides Brain Stew, if I remember correctly.
Yes. They only
Right.
they only
But
had. Well, I guess Walking Contradiction was a single too, but yeah, Geek
Yeah.
Stink Breath was that was the lead off single. Geek Stink Breath was the lead off
That's what
single.
I was going to ask. Geek Stink Breath was number one, right? As far as release.
Yeah, release Geek Stink Breath, and then Brain Stew / Jaded, and then Walking
Which,
Contradiction.
I mean, and I could see why they did Geek Stink as their initial lead-off single. I don't agree with it, but like I see why they did it though. Just from like the sound and everything, like it would make sense. Brain Stew becoming the big one also makes sense again off of the sound and everything else within it.
There wasn't
Especially
much
in the,
time between When I Come Around and Geek Stink Breath. Like it felt like an eternity at the time. But like, I mean, they were MTV was still playing Dookie in 1995.
Oh
well,
yeah,
yeah,
on
because
reality.
it just came out what seven. So it was what May of '94 is when Dookie was released.
Like When I Come Around, they still played When I Come Around more on MTV than they did Geek Stink Breath.
Which I fully believe. Like that makes sense.
Yeah,
Um,
Brain Stew they wore into the fucking ground, but
well, let's say Brain Stew was still being played in the 2000s, as well as When I Come Around. Both those. I mean, I remember listening to the radio on the bus, going to school, and yeah, both those got played.
you take a song like
Not
Stewart in the Avenue. Stewart in the Avenue is a much better radio single than a Brain Stew. Like it's just standing on the corner of Stew. It's like so poppy, so happy, or sounds
no,
happy, I
I
should
mean, it
say.
is, but like, I always is it more poppy? Yes. Is it more radio friendly? I don't know.
I think it is. I think
Not for
Stewart in the Avenue.
95. 95, they're still trying to present like bands as edgy.
Yeah, and
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
even the 2000s scene, I don't see it really pushing through what was coming through in the early to mid 2000s.
As far as what?
The what's on the radio.
Well, that was just Nickelback and Three Doors
yeah. The
Down,
radio
and
was already fucked by
An
2000.
American Idiot, but
what we
yeah,
quote as
it's whatever's on the radio now is what was on the radio in 2005.
yeah, yeah, you
'Cause I'm 6 feet on the ground and I'm thinking.
I mean, you guys still on the head with that. But besides that point, um, this one was it as raw as their initial album? No.
Yes.
I don't think it's as raw as their initial album.
I
I
don't
say
think
it's
it's
more,
cheap, but it certainly is aggressive.
You remove that
yes.
Rob Cavallo reprise money, and this is way more raw than 39 Smooth.
I mean,
Yeah, I mean it's a better distortion. Drums are bigger.
It's more raw than Kerplunk. Like
Smooth.
the sound. Granted, it could be now again with the digital age and streaming. We could be listening to I could have been listening to a third reprise, digital version while I listen to these albums. That being said, I don't think Insomniac was as just raw comparatively to that 39 Smooth album. From the standpoint, it felt cleaned up, but cleaned up in an effective way.
Tony, what you think about Insomniac?
Fantastic.
Stranded.
Jaded, Brain Stew Jaded, like Green Day was like going, brought him back. People started listening again. And I'd have to listen to the whole thing over and over again, but
Yeah, to be fair, Tony is a special guest who just crashed the party, so he hasn't done any kind of like extensive listening to these records like the rest of us. So,
but I do
that's
know
how we do things.
This was one of the albums, like it's very poppy punk, but it is punk. Like it brought him back. I feel like they went back a little more on this album to their roots, like back in Gilman Street, shit like that. and it's a good album. It was fun. I had a great time listening to it. You know,
I can't wait to get into that artwork.
That will be fun, yeah.
Artwork will get trippy starting here, going out.
Look at that artwork.
Will be trippy.
Dose.
We
Trace.
what we did back then.
Uno. Demolicious.
Saviors.
But I do remember the Brain Stew Jaded combo, top of the chart for a little bit. Like, we had a great time.
Well, it's Bill's turn to guess.
All right. So I'm going to start with the wild card here. And I'm going to say Tony is going to put this one at number 3. Behind Dookie, but in front of 39 Smooth.
Well, don't ever speak for me again, but
we haven't explained the rule, like how we got to explain all this to Tony before he comes. Tony's going to show up next week when we're done with Green Day, Beastie Boys. Tony's going to be here for real. Let's go.
Where Tony knows a lot of stuff about some stuff.
Tony's going to be like a borderline expert on Beastie Boys.
Yep.
No.
He's got that D-double-O style.
Just my whole life.
Tony got no sleep till Brooklyn, motherfucker.
Right. Right.
I have not slept until Brooklyn. The train kept going. I fell asleep.
So where would you rank Insomniac?
3.
3. Okay, so Bill did speak for you. He got it. That's the wild card, Bill.
Yep. All right. So, okay. And I'm going to try and nail the hard one first here and go to Jason. Because I know Jason loves this album.
I love fucking
But he
Kerplunk.
also loves Insomniac.
That is this album.
I mean, Kerplunk.
And I love 39 Smooth.
Yes, you do.
And I love Dookie.
I'm going to say that Jason has this album 3rd. It's just because I think that Dookie and Kerplunk for him are going to be higher. 39 Smooth, as raw as it is, he's going to like the finished product of Insomniac more. Especially, how it ties out from the beginning and the end. He mentioned how he liked this one as the best closer, if I remember him saying correctly.
Yeah, he's my favorite closer so far. Do as I say,
but I mean,
not as I do, because
with how Kerplunk goes, I don't think that Jason's going to have this above Kerplunk.
That would be incorrect, sir.
It's not above Dookie for you, is it?
That would be correct. I fucking love Insomniac. I love the anxiety. I love the panic. I love the speed of it.
All right.
There's not... they took Dookie and they perfected it, and Insomniac, it's fucking perfection to me. This is a fucking pop punk record perfection. It's up there with Milo Goes to College for me. It's up there with Rocket to Russia for me. It's like one of those records that like I still listen to. There's not a month that goes by that I don't play Insomniac at some point.
Okay. Speaking as a person who is the outlier on Rocket to Russia, you didn't just analogize this into Rocket to Russia, did you?
I did. I'll listen to Insomniac any fucking day. I will throw that motherfucker on. I'll throw Rocket to Russia on too, but Insomniac, man, that's my Green Day.
All right, Tim, I think is gonna have this one number 1, not because of analogizing it to Rocket to Russia, but because he's gonna think it's better than Dookie.
Everything you just said is 100% correct.
I going number 2 for me.
Yeah, there's not enough. There's not enough singles on it there. Not enough singles.
That's
I get
not
you. I get
why
you.
I have it there.
I
That
get you.
isn't why I.
I get you. That's
That
fine.
really isn't why I'm
And
saying
there's no
it's there.
basket case on Insomniac. It's cool.
That's not. That's
Well,
not why I,
there's brain stew.
There is brain stew, and that's why it's
yeah,
number 2. There's no brain stew on
that's
39 Smooth.
that's not. That's really not why it's there. I mean, I love. It felt
Hey,
like to me this was a
there's no
call.
wrong rankings. I mean, you like Dookie more. There's a lot of people like Dookie. That's a hot take. Insomniac over Dookie. I know it's a hot take. I don't give a fuck. I love
I don't even
Insomniac.
know how to think.
It's just like so. My summation here. I like it's almost a return to the rawness of 39 Smooth, which I love, but it's got that sort of pop edge to it. It's definitely cleaner, no doubt about it. I think the opener closer duo is better than 39 Smooth. It's not for me the same as it is on Dookie though.
That's all fair points. All fair points. Stick around. Who knows who's going to show up for the next episode? We got Nimrod coming up next. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of big singles on that one. A lot of big singles.
Good
So
fucking
we'll
album.
see. We'll
Good
see.
album.
As always, what, Bill?
Be safe and listen to the Ramones.
Words to live by. Words to live by.
And then you go a little woo, and then a little whoop, 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 and then it's all, and then you're ready to go again.